Hello and welcome to this video about the P chain. I've made this for my Year 9 class to help them with their controlled assessment. It's going to be about Shakespeare, but it's going to have the general skills that you'll need to apply the P chain in your GCSE work too, so don't let that put you off. So what does P stand for? Point, evidence, and explain. Now it's all very well saying that, but what exactly do we mean when we say point, evidence, explain in your work? Well, first of all, write your point. So your point could be that Shakespeare uses poetic conventions to show how much Romeo loves Juliet. What do you do then? Well, you find your evidence. So your quote could be where Romeo says that Juliet is the sun in Act 2, Scene 2. But how does that prove your point, that Shakespeare uses poetic conventions? Well, Juliet isn't literally the sun. Romeo would have a big problem if she was. It's a metaphor, and a metaphor is a poetic convention. So there's your P paragraph, but that was a bit quick. So let's look at an example in more detail. I want to say that Shakespeare uses courtly love conventions to show his audience how much Juliet loves Romeo. I will prove this point by using a quote. So you've gone from point to evidence. Evidence. Some meteor that the sun exhaled, to be to thee this night a torch-bearer. There's your evidence, there's your quote. Now I need to explain how this quote proves my point. Explain. Juliet is saying that a meteor has been created just for Romeo, to help him see in the dark and travel safely. Obviously, a meteor would not be created just to light Romeo's way in the dark. This passionate exaggeration is a convention of courtly love and shows us how much Juliet loves Romeo. So in your P paragraph, when you're explaining it, just at the end, explain what the quote says, what the quote means, because if you're doing something like Shakespeare, the examiner needs to see that you understand the language. So explain the content of the quote and then explain how it proves your point. So how would I write all of that as a P paragraph? I know it seems like a lot. Point. Shakespeare uses the conventions of courtly love to show the audience how much Juliet loves Romeo. Evidence. For example, when she says that in the sky there is a meteor that the sun exhaled, to be to thee this night a torchbearer. Explain. She is saying that a meteor has been created just to help him find his way in the dark. This is passionate exaggeration, and it's a convention of courtly love. It shows the audience how much Juliet loves Romeo. Now that seems like a lot, but when you're writing with P paragraphs in your exam, you need to structure your writing to make sure you include everything you need to include to get your C grade. So it helps you to include quotes and make sure to put them in quotation marks. To practice this, try splitting it up into 3 stages to write some drafts and then move on to writing some full P paragraphs. I hope that helps.